with Coach Helmer for another edition of At the Track. Coach, last weekend was the Big Ten Championships. I know you weren't overly satisfied with the team placings, but you had to be pretty satisfied with the performances you got out of the 5 conference champions you had.
Yeah, it was a mixed bag. It really jerks you around emotionally because you have team goals that go unmet, but at the same time you have individuals who are providing some incredible inspirational performances. It's what we do and it's what we deal with, and I'm not sure that we trade one for the other, but it's a great conference, an incredibly competitive conference, and we had great athletes who found their way to the top of their events, but as a team we've got some work to do to be able to find our way to the top of the group team-wise.
Jermain Jones has produced a women's indoor Big Ten champion in the throws and for 6 straight years, including 4 straight in the shot put. Why is Coach Jones having so much success?
Obviously the 4 girls that have been Big Ten champions, it's 4 different girls. They were all talented kids who needed to be coached, who needed to be pushed, needed to have things demanded of them, and each one of them, as they matured and adapted to those demands, were able to go into to that meet and perform at a very high level. That's the sign of a very good coach. You've got to be able to turn all the hard work, the difficult practice days into performance on the day that it matters, and he's been able to do that. And it's 4 distinctly different girls, personality-wise and every other way, but they did a great job, and he continues to do a great job.
Zach Mayhew showed yet another sign that he's ready to be an elite competitor. What goes into him, having the ability to outkick a guy that was in the London Olympics to win that 5K?
First of all, Muhammad Ahmed is really good. Indoor track with big kick on the end probably isn't what he does best. He's really good on the long end. And Zach, the cool thing about Zach is he's overcoming what everybody else is forced to overcome. Everybody says they can't overcome. He puts himself in a good position. He prepares well. He's got confidence, but at the same time, there are periods of time in every great race he runs where he doubts himself. And when he doubts himself, he'll drift around a little bit and start to make us think that it's not going to happen. And yet at the end, he's gutsy enough and tough enough that he climbs back in and gives himself a chance to do something that's really spectacular. And yes, the track that we were on was fast. The competition was great. But if I'm not mistaken, the number 2 time ever run in the championship at 3,000 meters getting beat on Friday night. The second fastest time ever run in the championship to win at 5,000 meters on Saturday. To back up the Big Ten cross-country championship that he won, to back up the outdoor 10,000 meter championship that he won, it's obviously not a fluke. He just keeps putting himself in that place, and he's gutsy enough and tough enough and good enough to pull it off, and deserves everything that he gets.
Derek Drouin was the Big Ten Field Athlete of the Year and Field Athlete of the Big Ten Championships. Pretty remarkable meet for him. How good is Derek Drouin?
He's really good. He's much better now than he's ever been before. Just the way he carries himself, his maturity, his strength, his approach to what he's doing, his confidence levels. It's 7.6 and a half in a multi-event Um, and then to follow that up the next day to beat two of the top high jumpers in the country an hour after he ran 1,000 meters, PR'd in 4 or 5 of those heptathlon events, and thoroughly enjoys the challenge of the competition. A bronze medalist typically, a bronze medalist with a chance to do this for a while professionally, typically is going to tell you to leave him alone. He'll go get his Big Ten championship and get ready for nationals. Instead, he took on the bigger challenge of the heptathlon and number 8 time in the country there. Just like with Zach and several of other guys, it's a very inspirational thing to watch and to be a part of. Just an incredible athlete.
This weekend's the last chance weekend. Taking some DMRs to Alex Wilson in the past. You're going to do that again this weekend. And you've also got some high jumpers going to Arkansas. What's the key in a last chance weekend to have success?
I think there's a couple things. In some cases, just requires some luck. You can't control what everybody else is going to do, what it's going to take to get into the meet. But the other thing is, you have to have trained physically. You have to be strong enough mentally to come out of a tough conference meet weekend and have the ability to take another step forward and be better. And one of the things that we've prided ourselves in, even though we race a lot, even though we try to get up multiple times, we've prided ourselves in the ability to sustain that level of effort. History tells us that this should be really good for us Friday night, and if we can get those kids into the national meet, that they'll perform very, very well once they're there. It's just a matter of kind of the luck of the draw and making sure that we don't make any mistakes and giving ourselves a chance to do what we're prepared to do. And it's going to come down to within tenths of a second and centimeters, and we get that. And if we're fortunate enough, we'll be on the right side of those decisions.
You know, you have the folks competing at the last chance meet. You have the folks that are pretty much safely into the national meet. You've got the rest of your roster. Indoor season's just about over. So, you know, what is their preparation like?
We've transitioned into work. Gave them a little bit of mental downtime, but certainly we've gone down back to some basic conditioning and are doing some things. We've got an enthusiastic group. It's tough to go to a conference meet and get bounced around pretty good and maintain an enthusiasm level that you need in order to be able to go forward and improve. And yet, we've got a lot of young people who have accepted that challenge, and we're going to get better. We have to get better. And the only way you're going to get better is you come back and you go to work, and they're good with that. They've embraced that. That's what we've done. And start looking forward to outdoor and new opportunities for some pretty talented kids.
Today you released the first 18 signees of the 2013 class. It seems like you got a lot of commitments earlier this year than in previous years. Is that, you know, a sign of maybe some of the successes you've had in recent seasons?
Yeah, recruiting was, I think, a little easier this year. That's the wrong word. We were more active this year and able to be more active this year recruiting with some higher level kids. Feel real good about where we are with some. I don't feel so good about where we might be with a few more and what those efforts have produced. But it's, you know, the February signing is a difficult thing for us in track and field because we recruit seniors. We recruit athletes who are competing this year. We're not getting commitments from juniors and sophomores. We don't want commitments from juniors and sophomores. We want kids that are coming on at the end of their careers and doing a really good job. And the thing that makes it difficult with the non-distance runners, the distance runners have had a cross-country season to show us what they can do. The thing that makes it difficult is the outdoor track and field season is is still a month or so away, and some of these kids are really going to blossom as we get into that part of the year. We've relied on that part of the year to give us to finalize some of our recruiting. So we're ahead of the game on that part of it, and really happy with the group that we've been able to get commitments from up to this point. But we're not done. We've got to find some more.
Recruited internationally again this year, bringing in a 9:05 steepler from Canada and Jeremy Koffler, and a sub 14 minute 5K guy in from Japan in Yusuke Uchikosha.
Yusuke can't speak English, so he'll forgive you for not being able to speak Japanese, I'm sure. But yeah, they're both really good, and they're both young. Jeremy's particularly young, turned 17 this fall. A lot of enthusiasm, pretty precocious kid. I like it. He'll find a way to help us. Yusuke is an incredible talent, great range, 1500 up through whatever you want him to run. His father was fifth in the World Championships in 1993 in the marathon. We still have some language barrier issues to work our way through with him, but he's committed to coming to Indiana, and he's committed to putting things in place so that will happen. And I'm very confident that once both those kids are here, that they're coming here to do something special and be a part of something that's special, and that's what attracted to us to them in the first place.
Brittany and Bethany Neely are two of the top runners in the state. You know, it's nice to have them stay here in the state and run at IU.
Yeah, Brittany and Bethany are actually playing for Eastern Green in the state championship basketball tournament this weekend, Greentown. They're tough kids. I think last week, diving for a ball, one of them, Bethany, I think, lost the front tooth. They're both 1,000-point scorers. If nothing else, they're going to bring competitive spirit and a desire to compete hard. But they're going to back that up with a significant amount of talent, and I think they'll have the ability to affect some cultural changes for us in terms of how we go about our business, all the way from the intensity of the work that we do to the intensity that we are able to find on business. They're good, solid, all-round athletes who I think have the ability to be great track and field athletes at this level.
We've got the top half miler in the country coming in, and Takis Canard. Talk a little about him.
He's raw. He's ugly as a runner, and he's tough. He's very good. 149.3 as a junior, but 150 point as a sophomore, and 153, I believe, as a freshman. He's incredibly talented. He's got a good coach. He has lots of areas where we feel like he can improve rapidly. It's only going to make him better, but what he does bring to us is a huge heart. He loves to compete. He's tough. He's committed to trying to find ways to make us better, and wants to be a part of something great. And again, the enthusiasm, the competitive spirit, the quality of person that he is. If I could find a Takis every year, we would be in great shape.
You've had a lot of success in the past recruiting talent out of James Hill House High School. Looks like you've got another good one in Kelly Davis.
Yeah, Kelly Davis is good. She was good, very young. It's tough because it's a city school that doesn't produce distance runners, and yet she's the distance runner at a city school, and so she kind of is out there on her own, trying to put things in place. Her coaches are outstanding people who have guided a lot of young people through the difficulties of growing up in an environment that's not always the kindest place to be. And every one of the kids I've recruited from that school have done a great job academically. They give me a good, solid effort, and the numbers that Kelly has put on the board in a wide range of events give me great confidence that as she learns to train, as she gets comfortable with what it takes and gains an understanding of what it's going to take to be a great middle distance runner, that she can be really, really good. Great competitive spirit. Anchored the national record sprint medley indoors last year. Has been on a lot of big races, and is a good kid. She's going to be just fine.
And then you've got 2 high-level sprinters signed on to play football in the fall and then run track in the winter and the spring, in LaRae Smith and Anthony Young. How nice is it to be able to work with the football program?
It's great to be able to work with the football program. Number one, I'm sold on our football program because Indiana needed to get better in football, and Indiana is getting better in football, and I absolutely am convinced that the next several years is going to reveal some incredible growth with our football program. It's going to be a place where some great football players want to come play football. The fact that they're confident as coaches, they're confident enough in themselves as coaches and their abilities to be able to share high quality track and field athletes who bring something to their program and have the ability to bring something to our program. It's absolutely not something that they have to do. They're paying. That's the way the NCAA rules work. They're the primary sport. But the 2 kids that are coming, LaRae Smith out of New York, Anthony Young out of Cleveland, are big-time track and field athletes who wanted the opportunity to do both. And our football staff has afforded them that opportunity and partnered with our staff, particularly Abby Norton, one of our assistant coaches, to help recruit those kids who see themselves as track guys as well. So great talent, great speed. We as coaches are charged with the challenge of making sure that we help them figure out a way to be as good as they can possibly be relative to the contributions we want them to make in those sports.
Well, that's all for this month. Hopefully next month we'll be out on the outdoor track under some sunshine.
And hopefully we can talk a little bit about what should be a great national indoor meet for us.
Yeah. Thanks for talking with me, and we'll see you next month.